Great. Okay, so I'm gonna do something that I actually never do, and that is start a second book at the same time I'm reading my first one. And this is because I am packing a lot right now for my trip, and so that means I'm just like working on stuff. And I'm like, what else should I be doing besides reading and like listening to an audiobook? So I'm doing Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry on audiobook. I think it'll help since it's so different. I'm still reading One Dark Window, and I think because they're so different, it'll like be fine. If I notice I start getting confused, I'll back off on the audiobook, finish this one, and then keep going on my book. But it's the beginning of the month, and I had my free Audible credit, and I think this is a good way to spend it because I've been wanting to read this one for a while. I actually have it here with me. It's right here. Great Big Beautiful Life. I've been wanting to read it for a while, but I haven't been in the romance mood, and it's kind of long for a romance, which hers... Oh my gosh, the gingham. That is so stinking cute. I haven't seen that yet. Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's like 4-something pages, which is great, but I haven't been in the mood for like a long romance, so I think listening to it on audiobook is going to help. So I'm excited to get listening. I can't get over how cute that is. Oh my goodness. I already love pink and blue together, and that's, sorry, I get like sidetracked from the smallest things, but that is so pretty. I love it. But I'm going to get listening and start packing. So if there's anything to update y'all on, you will be hearing from it. Okay, so I'm done with Great Big Beautiful Life for tonight. I finished packing, so I'm gonna save the audiobook for when I'm driving tomorrow, because that's like a roughly 2-hour drive. But something that so they're interviewing this lady, and she's kind of had this feeling, like, first off, she's already been like holding things back, which is fine. But she's also finding a lot of inconsistencies with the information that she's being given. I'm wondering, I was like, is it even her? Like, is she I know she looks like the pictures, but I'm like, I wonder if it's not her. I'm trying to figure out like a reason of why she would even lie. Like, maybe she's trying to protect someone. I don't know. But I am kind of getting the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vibes, kind of, a little bit. But I'm wanting her to talk more about her own life, because right now she's kind of going through like family history. But I'm wanting her to talk about more of her own life, and I'm wanting to figure out why she's like withholding information. Like, what's her deal? Because what's his name? What's his name? Hayden. Both Hayden and Alice are both like, something's up. Like, A, why now? And B, why is she withholding information? Like, why is she lying? Like, what's going on? So I'm really like dying to know what's going on with this. Also, I have to say, this is I can't think of another book I've read where like I feel like the grumpy is being pulled off really well. Like, it's not giving like, oh, he has a secret crush on her and he's nice to everyone else. It's like, no, he's just a grump to everyone, and like he didn't originally like her, I don't think, unless he's gonna like have his POV and be like, I liked you from day one and that's why I was grump to you. No, I think he just is kind of like not quite mean, but just a little bit more curt with people, like, because that's how he treats everyone in his life. And I don't think he originally liked her, which I also really like, because I feel like the trope of like, oh, he's just grumpy because he's trying to hide his feelings for you is like kind of overdone. But I also feel like I can't really relate to Alice because her thought process is just so different from my own. But I still really enjoy reading from her perspective, and I still really enjoy like having her as a character. I just can't personally relate, because whenever like someone's kind of rude to her, she's just like, oh, I'm gonna choose to believe that he's just going through something, and like she thinks the best in people. She wants people to like, she'll keep trying over and over, and that's not really my view on things. I'm like, okay, he's being rude to you over and over, like don't keep like putting yourself in the situation to be kind of walked on. But it's actually kind of endearing to read about, and I feel like it's done in a way that it's not annoying, at least yet. I don't find it annoying yet. I feel like she still has like boundaries in a way, so it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Right now she has this like situationship with this guy named, I think his name's Theo, and he kind of like isn't the greatest to him, so she still will set boundaries, and she like, I feel like that's why I don't find her annoying, because she'll be like, okay, I'll call, and if he wants to come visit me he can, but I'm not going to him, and like stuff like that, where because she at least has some boundaries like that, it's like still endearing, and it's not like frustrating, like girl, like come on. So, but she's still like, people like strangers she doesn't know that well, she just chooses to believe that they're just going through something, and that's why someone might not be the nicest. And I feel like it actually, usually, like I said, usually this personality type gets on my nerves, especially when it's like a grumpy sunshine dynamic, because I feel like it just comes across weird. But I feel like it's just this in this book particularly, it's just happening in a really like, I feel like normal way, where he didn't really like her, didn't want to get to know her, she's just like, I don't know. And the situation where this like gross man is like being kind of like creepy towards her, so he like steps in, and I feel like that's actually like the way that it happens, I think makes their like growing like for each other, and there's no other, like there's no better word to say that than just like they're like not quite friendship, but they're at least being like nice to each other. It makes it feel more normal, because like they kind of had to hang out after that, because like it's a long situation where there was like a fire alarm and they couldn't go back in the hotel to their rooms, so they had to go get breakfast, and it just kind of like made them hang out in a natural way. And we like him more because he stepped in and like got her out of that situation. And yeah, I'm going on a long tangent, but what I'm trying to say is this whole thing, obviously it's like a grumpy sunshine trope, da 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 da, but this feels like the most natural time like that I can think of while reading that this has like happened. Like their characters are believable for the first time. I actually genuinely believe that like he's actually grumpy and not just like awkward, you know what I mean? So all of this to say, I'm really enjoying it, and I think this might end up being like one of my favorite Emily Henry books. Definitely not my favorite, but I think one of my favorites. Okay, I'm back in OKC, and after that long drive, I got through a lot more of Great Big Beautiful Life, and I'm honestly liking Margaret's story like the best. I keep wanting to get more of her, and I think I'm liking more of like the literary fiction elements of this more than I'm liking the romance. I think what I liked originally about him is that he's like, the grumpiness feels organic, but I kind of feel like they aren't that suited for each other. And I feel like his one personality trait is being grumpy. Like there's not really much else. And then it's also kind of weird because they both have like their trauma from their past, but I feel like that's not really being explored. It's just like casually mentioned, and it feels kind of weird. So okay, for her, I'll give an example. For her trauma is that her sister, when they were younger, was battling like a bunch of health problems. And so now when it's like weird, because like whenever she sees a closed door, she's like, oh my, she like starts freaking out. She's like, I can't get in and help them. or like she had a few missed calls from her mom. Her sister hasn't been sick in years, keep in mind. She has a few missed calls from her mom, and she calls her back and she's like, is Audrey okay? What's wrong with Audrey? And her mom's like, why would Audrey, like, which I get that, like, trauma responses aren't practical. It's just kind of like how your brain works. But the thing is we haven't met Audrey at all. They don't talk on the phone. They're not, like, close that we've seen. And so it's kind of just, like, I think it's only been mentioned, like, twice. One when the door was closed, and one when she had a few missed calls from her mom. And then she has, like, this freak out. And it's kind of weird because, like I said, we don't get any more backstory than just, like, oh, she was sick and had some heart problems. We don't meet her at all. We have no, like, attachment. I know this sounds so bad to say. So whenever she's having these freakouts, it's kind of, like, out of the blue because, like I said, she doesn't have them often. It's just kind of weird where it kind of just leaves me confused instead of, like, sympathizing with her and being like, oh my gosh, like, she's, like, going, like, all this stuff. It's kind of just like, okay, like, you know what I'm saying? It catches me off guard because I feel like it really hasn't been explored that well. And I almost forget that, I think she forgets she has a sister. I don't think they've talked once. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, she'll text in the family group chat with her sister, but it's not like they're having phone calls. I mean, we've seen her mom, but we haven't seen her. So, I don't know. It's just a little odd to me, but what do I know? And then, yeah, I just don't see them connecting that well. And also, I think, so they're not wanting to start anything until Margaret chooses who she wants to be the writer because, like, they don't want hurt feelings after. But I'm also kind of like, okay, you guys are hanging out all the time. Like, at this point, there's already going to be hurt feelings. I think it's going to be the same amount of hurt feelings if they start something versus if they don't. I don't know. I'm just such a skeptic on this romance part. And I've heard people say that they don't like the Margaret chapters because they feel like it's like, why do I want to learn about that? At this point, that's like what I care about. I care about the Margaret chapters. I care about when she's talking with Margaret because I feel like I feel like it's split like 50-50 on Margaret's story and then like their story. And I'm liking the Margaret bits more. Like, I'm liking hearing about her past, her conversations. It's just so much more interesting to me. And I think it's just really showing me that I like the literary fiction aspect because we're learning more about the character. We're learning more about her. There's still some plot in there, but it's more like character heavy, where the romance bits, I'm kind of like rolling my eyes and like, okay, I want to get back to Margaret. That's kind of what I'm noticing, which I feel like kind of does reflect my preferences in real time. But I had heard a lot of people saying that this was more literary fiction than romance. And I feel like for Emily Henry, it's like about normal. Like, she already kind of does this a little bit. But I think I was coming into this with the expectations of like more, if that makes sense. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm trying to get back to Margaret's story, but I'm going to take a little break for now and go back to my other book. This is so random, but part of this is hard for me because his name is Cosmo St. Clair, and it's been fine this whole book, but they've just now started calling him just like Cosmo, not the full name. And I had a dog named Cosmo, and this happens whenever I'm reading a book and like I have a weird connection. I can't like take him seriously because I just keep thinking Cosmo, my white Maltese I had when I was younger. I just keep thinking Cosmo. Sorry, it's like a weird connection, but I can't get it out of my head. Okay, I finished Great Big Beautiful Life, and I loved the ending. So basically in the ending, what happens is she figures out that Margaret is actually his grandma. And that's why she, like, orchestrated this whole thing, was to get closer to him. And she was basically just, like, kind of put in the crossfire, and there was never going to be a book. And so she's really devastated, and because of the NDA she signed, she's not allowed to tell him. So she, like, basically runs away, and they don't see each other for a long time. And then finally, the grandma ends up telling him, and they get back together. I'm trying to think. They have a kid. They name the kid after Laura, the sister of Margaret, and the middle name is Grace. I think that's Margaret's middle name. I don't remember. She mentioned it once, but I don't remember. And they write the book together, so that she, like, lets them write the book about her, and they write it together, and it does really well. But it's just a really cute ending, and I really enjoyed it. So I was trying to come to terms with how I felt about it, because I feel kind of, like, conflicted, because there were parts of it I really enjoyed and parts that, like, I kind of didn't. And I went to, like, I was just looking at different Goodreads reviews, and one of them says, this book tries to be literary fiction, romance, and even, like, a little bit of mystery in there. And the comment says, I don't think fans of any of the three genres will really be satisfied by this book. And that's kind of how I feel. I still really liked it, but I feel like I was kind of more drawn to the literary fiction aspects of it. Like, instead of, like, the romance or the mystery. I mean, I was still intrigued by, like, the mystery aspects, but I mean, I wouldn't by any means call this a mystery. It's definitely not. It has, like, mystery elements, as well as, I would even say, like, romance elements, because it's not like it's the main plot. And then literary fiction, like, it's all three, but each three aspect of it, I feel like, is not very complete and fleshed out. So I saw someone else talking, and they're like, I feel like it just feels like, they said that you could tell that it's almost like she didn't have time to fully flesh all, like, to really fine-tune each aspect of things because of how quickly she puts out new books. I don't know if I agree on that. It's, like, something to consider, but I just feel like it was kind of intentional. I don't know. I feel very conflicted by this book. I think overall I'm going to give it, like, a flat 4.0. I do like it more than some of her other books, but I don't like it as much as some of her other ones, if that makes sense. I think for me, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. I like when there's a bit more literary fiction. I even feel like some of that, like, character aspects that I mentioned earlier as being confusing to me, I feel like those could have been fleshed out way better. We still never even really met Audrey, the one that, like, a lot of her trauma is rooted on, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I know it, like, wouldn't push the plot forward, but it would make you understand her personality more, because it seems like a lot of her personal issues are actually rooted in with her mom. And there's a lot of conversations between her and her mom. They, like, work through their issues together. She feels like her mom isn't proud of her, all this stuff. But her trauma that she mentions as being, like, anxiety-inducing is with her sister, who we never meet. So it just feels, like, interesting. And I mean, I'm not saying that trauma doesn't make sense for her as a character, because her trauma is feeling like she can't help her sister, and the way that she thinks she could best help her family is just by being, like, happy and sweet all the time, and being, like, that's kind of why she's so naive in a way. It's just because she's always trying to be the, like, easiest, carefree. So it kind of makes sense with her personality, but I feel like it just is kind of randomly tacked on, almost. You know what I mean? I know I keep, like, hyperfixating on this, but I just feel like there's aspects like that. And then him, like, a lot of his stuff is also with his family. And I feel like this book is, because Margaret is related to his family, I'm like, it would have made sense if we got more about that. and like that link, when yes, it's from her perspective, but it's really all his family history. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird that we never really meet his parents. Like, he'll mention them occasionally, but I don't know. I just think it's weird. And then, oh, a cute little bow at the end. They have a kid. I don't know. I can't explain it. But, yeah, I just feel like some parts of it left me feeling like I wanted more, maybe. And, yeah. Like I said, I give it a 4.0. I still really enjoyed it. I'm keep going on about my problems about it, but I did really enjoy it, and I probably would recommend it to someone if like they were like I said, it's not one of my least favorite of her books. I think there's a few I haven't read, but I'm excited to read something else now and kind of move along, and don't know what that's going to be, but I will let y'all know soon. And thank you for sticking with all my rants on this book, because I had a lot of like I said, conflicting thoughts that I had to kind of rationalize in my brain. But bye.